Part 115. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1141. Seeing his son's swallowing movements, Lu Zhang took him away without hesitation and replaced him with Xiao Wu, whose cries were almost inaudible. He did not take advantage of his son's shame at all. With his brother's help, Xiao finally got his wish and stopped crying. Xiao stopped crying, and the little guy who was strangled just after tasting the sweetness became dissatisfied and started crying, which instantly woke up Zibao. "Ah, brother," Zibao turned over and sat up, sliding off the bed neatly. He rubbed his eyes and ran to the bed, stopped immediately, looked at his brother who was crying on the bed, looked at his brother who was being held by Lu Zhang, and looked again. There was another one in his mother's arms, and he couldn't help but let out a wow. 3 brothers, not 2. Yes, there are 3 younger brothers. Zibao often works with Feng Qingxiu, and all the medical staff are familiar with him. After Dr. Liao said this, he touched Zibao's head and said, "Zibao should be a good brother. When he is older, he will take him to play with him. Now you stay here with your parents and brother, and I will wash the baby milk powder. Army commander, where are your milk powder and bottles? I remember Comrade Tianling said they brought them here." Lu Zhang handed the son in his arms to Dr. Liao to hold. "I'll rush." The milk powder was taken out and prepared in Feng Qingxiu's space, but the milk bottles were common duckbill glass milk bottles on the market. There was no way to take out the various milk bottles in the space, as well as the magical diapers. Both bottles were used, the milk powder was prepared, the temperature was tested, and they were brought to the mouths of the 3rd and 4th children. Lu Zhang could never tell the difference between Lao San and Lao Si, so they were all called Lao San Lao Si. The 2 brothers who were crying happily opened their mouths and took the duck's mouth in their mouths. One of them sucked the duck's mouth without hesitation, while the other, the one who cried the loudest and was still in Dr. Liao's arms, spat it out. "Close your eyes and continue howling." Mom, my brother is crying, he doesn't drink from grandma," Zibao said in surprise. At this time, Feng Qingxiu could not care about her eldest son or the son who cried the loudest. She looked at Xiao Wu in her arms with distress. Compared with her son who was drinking milk powder, Xiao Wu's appetite was pitifully small. Waiting for him to finish eating finally, there was still a lot of milk left. "Dr. Liao, please give me the little guy in your arms." Feng Qingxiu knew why her domineering son didn't drink milk powder. "Now that I can taste the taste of breast milk, I won't drink milk powder." Dr. Liao was also flustered by the little guy's crying. He quickly replaced him with the quiet, soft, and frail Xiao Wu and held him in his arms. He looked at the few hairs on Xiao Wu's head, which were different from his brother's dark and thick hair. Dr. Liao could feeling distressed. Sure enough, this domineering little guy stopped crying when he was in his mother's arms and drank all the milk in one go. The 3 little ones were finally full and the 3 swaddles were discharged. The adults breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from their foreheads. What will they do next? 3 younger brothers. No, Zibao lay on the edge of the bed, looked at his younger brother, and shook his head. "Why is it bad?" Feng Qingxiu asked curiously. "Don't you want to take your younger brothers to play with you? From now on, the 3 younger brothers will listen to your big brother. You are very majestic big brother." Zibao bumped their fists together and frowned in distress. "My sister and I only have 2 little tin frogs, not 3. What should I do if the 2 brothers fight if they are not enough?" He is very worried. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1142. The worried Zibao held his chin with one hand and gently poked his brother's cheek with the other hand. He was the one who cried the loudest. He thought this brother was very powerful. Dr. Liao finished examining Feng Qingxiu and said, "As I said before, Your vitality has been damaged and you have to take good care of it for a few years. You can't be tired anymore. Don't worry, Dr. Liao, I will definitely pay attention to this aspect, Lu Zhang said without hesitation. Dr. Liao nodded, then examined the three children and took off the stethoscope. Needless to say, the third and fourth children are very healthy and will eat well in confinement. As for the little one, what's wrong with Xiaowu? Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu asked in unison. Dr. Liao pondered for a moment, but did not mention the child's congenital frailty and poor cardiopulmonary function as his brothers. He said directly, I'll ask Dr. Zhang from the pediatric department to come over and take a look at him. In our army, Dr. Zhang is the authority. Feng Qingxiu had a sudden thought in her heart, then I'll trouble you, Dr. Liao. Don't say polite words, this is what we should do. Dr. Liao looked at his watch, it's past 7:30. I have to go to eat, and I have to do rounds when I get back. You guys have a good rest. Especially you, Qing Comrade Shui, eat something and have a good rest. Not long after Lu Zhang sent her out, Tianling brought breakfast. First was Feng Qingxiu's brown sugar millet porridge, followed by Lu Jiang's scones, Fuebao's egg custard, and Zibao's scallion pancakes. I made another bowl of brown sugar eggs for Qingxiu. Egg flakes, not whole eggs, are easy to digest. The main reason is that I'm afraid that the millet porridge will not make her hungry. She has to feed 3 babies now. If she doesn't eat better, how can she have milk to feed the children? As soon as she entered the hospital, she heard that Feng Qingxiu had given birth to triplets, which made Tianling extremely happy and envious. Sister Tianling, it's up to you to cook. I don't understand the confinement menu, so just cook it for Qingxiu. Lu Zhang took Tianling's lunchbox from the quilt in the basket and opened it. Sure enough, it was a lunchbox full of brown sugar millet porridge. It was very thick and had a layer of rice oil on it. Qingxiu, come and drink some porridge first. Lu Zhang fed her spoonful by spoonful, and after finishing the porridge, she ate brown sugar eggs. The egg whiting was beaten very finely, and the portion wasn't too much, but Feng Qingxiu was just full after eating it. After helping the Lu family for so long, Tianling had already figured out Feng Qingxiu's appetite. Zibao finished eating the egg cake and drank butter tea. Fuebao was still sleeping soundly. The cry of her brother and the voices of adults did not wake her up. Tianling left the covered porcelain bowl containing the egg custard still wrapped in the little quilt. Sister, you're a lazy bastard, Zibao sneered, urging Lu Zhang to move the chair to his mother's bed and sit on the chair himself. Soon, Shang Kun delivered the brown sugar millet porridge cooked by Yang's mother and the paper and pen requested by Lu Zhang. I have already said hello to all the cooking teams. I have left all the pig's trotters for my sister-in-law. I have stewed the soup and sent it over. Army Commander, just don't forget to pay when the time comes. Although the pig's trotters are worthless, only a dime, they have to abide by the rules. Lu Zhang said gratefully, I won't say it if you're polite. I'll finish writing the leave request report. You can hand it over to the army for me. If you want to approve it or not, ask Zhou Rong to come over and tell me. Now it's right. Shang Kun took away the leave application report written by Lu Zhang, and Dr. Liao came with Dr. Zhang. After Dr. Zhang examined Xiao Wu, he said directly to Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu, mother and son live in the hospital. I will tell you when you will be discharged. Especially this little one, we must take good care of him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1143. Seeing Dr. Zhang's solemn expression, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu panicked. Is there any problem? Dr. Zhang was upright and did not hide it from them. He is born with a weak constitution, and his cardiopulmonary function is not as strong as his brother's. You must have discovered this problem, so I tell you this. Our army is located in a remote area, and the equipment is not as good as that of the capital. The advanced technology in Shanghai can only allow you to stay in the hospital to ensure your safety. If something goes wrong, you can get timely treatment. Regarding the safety of their children, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu agreed without hesitation. Just live there, medical expenses are free anyway, and the most important thing is to ensure that adults and children are safe. After discussion, the two doctors did not arrange for Feng Qingxiu to be transferred from the delivery room to the ward. The reason was that they were afraid that Xiao Wu would get cold if he went out. There was always a stove in the delivery room, which kept a certain amount of warmth. Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu were naturally grateful. After Dr. Zhang left, Lu Zhang helped Feng Qingxiu lie down. If the child sleeps, you should sleep too. Feed 3 children once every 2 hours. Even if you only feed Xiao, it will be enough for you. You can take advantage of their rest. You have to take the time to rest. Before Feng Qingxiu could close her eyes, Bai Shui ran in like a whirlwind. Triples. It's actually triplets. Qingxiu, I really have you. Bai Shui was extremely envious of twins, let alone triplets. You must take advantage of Feng Qingxiu's joy, and it doesn't matter if you bring yourself a child. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. Lu Zhang said unhappily, Qingxiu is going to have a rest. Come back another day. Ajiang, don't be so rude. They came to visit you out of good intentions. You could vaguely hear Bai Shui's voice when giving birth yesterday. It showed that they also cared about you and waited outside for a long time. I'm sorry, I'm too worried about their mothers, Lu Zhang said. It's okay, it's okay. Take good care of Qingxiu and I'll come back another day. Bai Shui saw Feng Qingxiu, who looked tired, but she still looked at the triplets one by one before running away. Feng Qingxiu closed her eyes with peace of mind. Even if she is hospitalized, even if Lu Zhang is with her all the time, even if Yang's mother and Tianling often come to deliver meals and help wash clothes, diapers, and take care of the children, it is difficult for Feng Qingxiu to have a good rest, because Xiao Wu's resistance is not as good as that of her brother. After about 10 days, a fever suddenly broke out, but such a small baby couldn't take any medicine at all, which caused a lot of trouble in the obstetrics and gynecology department and the pediatric department. Fortunately, Dr. Liao, Dr. Zhang, Guo Xiuying, Wang Sanbao and others had enough experience to finally lower the temperature and prevent Xiao Wu from developing pneumonia. Seeing that her youngest son was out of danger, Feng Qingxiu lay paralyzed on the bed. She finally let go of her anxious heart and took better care of her younger son. She wished she could keep her eyes on him 24 hours a day. The busiest room in the entire military hospital was probably Feng Qingxiu's room. When crying, the 3 children together, Xiao Wu can be ignored, and Xiao Si cries so loudly that it can shake the sky. Yes, the 4th child is the one who cries the loudest and has the most domineering personality. He doesn't want to celebrate his birthday on the same day as his brother, but he still has to celebrate his birthday with his brother. The 3rd child is quieter and drinks milk powder every day. The mother's milk belongs to the younger brother. He has never tasted a bite, and he doesn't fight or make trouble. He just cries along with his 4th brother to join in the fun. I want to give the name Lu Tiangziu to Xiao Wu, Feng Qingxiu suddenly said to Lu Zhang. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1144. Lu Zhang was walking around the room with his domineering Xiaosi in his arms. He was stunned when he heard this. I thought you would give this name to Xiaosan. Xiaosan is so good. He has never given us anything to worry about since he was born, except for eating, drinking, and defecating. Although most of his energy was focused on Xiao Wu, he still loved Xiao San and Xiao Si. Feng Qingxiu looked at her youngest son, who was always lying quietly beside her, Her eyes full of worry and love. The old leader is the head of a country, with a bright light that shines on the earth. He is the most blessed and noble person in the world. I hope that using the name given by the old leader will bless Xiao Wu with peace and longevity in his life. Okay, Lu Zhang said without hesitation, give Xiao Wu a nickname. A nickname will make him earn a living. The cheaper the name, the better. Zibao interjected, I am Zibao, my sister is Fuebao, and my brother is called Xiaobao. Okay. You have 3 younger brothers. Are they all called Xiaobao? Hearing her eldest son's childish words, Feng Qingxiu felt a little relieved and couldn't help showing a faint smile. It's hard to tell the 3 little treasures apart. Fu Bao was lying on the bedside looking at his younger brother, and suddenly said, Can I call you Go Bao? Bizor Go Bao? How vulgar. Feng Qingxiu's first reaction was this. If Xiao Wu was really named Go Bao, he would definitely hate his only sister when he grew up. I think Go Bao is pretty good, Lu Zhang said. Feng Qingxiu rolled her eyes at him, how can I be a father like you? Do you have to give me a cheap name? Lu Zhang said innocently, throughout the ages, many celebrities have had nicknames. Listen, Duke Cheng of Jin was called Black Buttocks, Empress Lu was called Pheasant, which means pheasant, and Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty was called Pig, so many people called Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty Lu Yezu. If you like calligraphy and painting, you should know Gu Kaizi's nickname, right? I remember that his name is Hudu, Tao Yuanming's name is Zigu, Zhao Quanggaian's name is Xianghaier, Bao Zheng's name is Sanhe, and Wang Ungshi's name is Badger. Stop it, stop it, stop it, you've just made up your mind to name Xiao Wu Go Bao, right? Go Bao is very good. It goes well with Zibao Fuebao. No, it's too unpleasant. I'm afraid Xiao Wu will blame me when he grows up. Feng Qingxiu thought for a while. Fu Lu, Xiao, and 11 Will are known as the 5 blessings that come to the door. Now the 11 Bao and Fu Bao are gone, and Xiao Wu call him Xiao may he live a long life. Lu Jiang's eyes widened, are you going to name your mistresses Lu Bao and Cai Bao? It's not as nice as Go Bao. You think Go Bao sounds good and Xiao sounds bad, so what's the name? Feng Qingxiu asked. It's better not to call it Bao. We already have Zibao and Fuebao in our family, so there is no need to name baby egg. If they were really named after the 5 blessings, outsiders would definitely laugh at their family's eagerness for happiness, wealth, longevity, and happiness. Feng Qingxiu nodded with satisfaction, that's right. There is no need to stick to similarity in nicknames. Lu Zhang suddenly realized, okay, you deceived me. Apart from Xiao Wu's name, I couldn't think of a suitable name for the time being, so I started calling Xiao San, Xiao Si, and Xiao Wu. Don't forget to write a letter to Dad and tell him, Feng Qingxiu reminded. Lu Zhang scratched his head and said, I really forgot about it. Feng Qingxiu closed her eyes and said, I'm asleep. You go and send the letter. Lu Zhang waited for Tianling to deliver food and ask her to take care of his wife and children, then he took Zibao and Fuebao to send a telegram to Lu's father. It was an urgent telegram. He only said one sentence, triples, mother and son are safe, please pick up too soon. 8 cents per word was quickly distributed to the Wanglu Brigade. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1145. It was snowing that day, and Father Lu and a group of old men who had been sent down were warming themselves by the fire in the cowshed. Although Lu Zhang was not at home, Su Aguo, who worked in the coal factory, would send him a batch of charcoal every year. In addition, Feng Qingxiu remembered this before leaving and put a few sacks of charcoal in the cellar, which was enough for them. After reading the contents of the telegram, Father Lu immediately said to the old man in the room, congratulate me, I have 3 more grandchildren. What? Triples. Xiaoxia gave birth to triplets. You're not kidding, are you? Xiaoxia just showed her pregnancy when she left. My dear, Zibao suddenly gained 3 new brothers. Congratulations, congratulations, Lao Lu, the Lu family has 3 more golden grandchildren. Are you happy? Needless to say, I must be happy. Who wouldn't be happy if it happened to me? Father Lu didn't know that Xiao was born with a weak body, so he said with joy, triples, mother and son are safe, this means that the triplets are all boys. What the blind man said at the beginning was not unreasonable. Ajong and Xiaoxiu are not just 4 sons and 1 daughter. Hearing what he said, everyone suddenly remembered Wang Zhenqiu's words and couldn't help but look at each other in shock. It's a pity that blind Shan passed away when Ruyu sighed, otherwise, we would send someone to ask him and let him figure out for us old guys, when can we be rehabilitated and return to our former home. When it comes to this issue, everyone feels the same way. Although they received help from Wang Zhenqiu, Lu's father, and others here and did not suffer, they still wanted to return to their former residence and engage in their respective industries instead of wasting their time here farming. Father Lu shook his head, didn't you hear the news on the radio? The movement outside is still vigorous and in full swing, but it is not as violent as when it started the year before last. There are countless celebrities from all walks of life who have been wronged like you. How is it possible? Someone will rehabilitate you and let you return to your hometown? Listen to me, live here with peace of mind, live hard, and after 10 or 8 years, you will probably be rehabilitated as you wish. 10 years? I will be over 80 by then. Whether I live in this world or not is a question Jinruoka couldn't help but said. 10 years in Hedong and 10 years in Hexi, this movement will not end in 10 or 8 years, Father Lu said categorically, because it came too fast, and too intense, it cannot end in a short time. I won't say it anymore. Stop talking, it's useless to talk about these things, hurry up and brainstorm names for my 2 grandsons. When Ruyu asked doubtfully, 2? Aren't they triplets? Father Lu explained, Zibao's name is Lu Tianmao, and Fubao's name is Lu Tianhui. Ajiang asked me to give them 2 names. I guess one of the triplets should be named Lu Tianxiu. This was the name given by the old leader at that time, but when King Xiu gave birth to Fubao, she was named Tianhui, which was also given by the old leader. The name Tianxiu was never used. Everyone suddenly realized, it turns out that Fubao's name has such an origin. She is indeed a lucky girl. With the name given by the country's leader, how can Fubao not be blessed? When they grow up in the future, they will be able to proudly tell the origin of their names, and thus they will be less likely to suffer setbacks and bullying. Think about it quickly, what are the names of those 2 grandchildren from Tianzi generation, Father Lu said. When Ruyu said without hesitation, how about I give one a name, Lu Tianwei? I discovered that these children in your family have always had the suffix meaning intelligent, handsome, and outstanding. Wei means gorgeous literary talent and excellent. When he finished speaking, everyone cheered. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1146. Lu's father said that when Ruyu's name was very good, so he decided to name one of his grandsons Lu Tianwei. The last grandson can only have one name. Which word do you think is better? After listening to Father Lu's words, Uncle Su blurted out, how about the English word? It means smart and outstanding. It is exactly the same as the name of the brother and sister. When you hear it, they are brothers and sisters. Lu Tianying. Lu Tianying. Okay, this is also a good name, Father Lu finalized, and then said, let's call them Lu Tianwei, Lu Tianying, and the other one is called Lu Tiangxiu. I just don't know if these triplets have nicknames. The couple must not be tacky. The earth will give you wealth, longevity, and wealth, and the 5 blessings will come to your door. Everyone laughed. King Xiu is very talented, so she shouldn't be so vulgar. It's better to give them some nicknames and let them choose. Father Lu said, if you have 3 children in a pregnancy, the children will be weaker than those born in a single pregnancy, so just give them some nicknames that mean they will grow up strong. Feed. A group of old men were extremely bored. Guancheng, who usually studied with them, went to see a doctor. However, Lu Tianzi and Guancheng returned to school due to the resumption of primary and secondary schools. Therefore, the 2 old men in their group who were originally teaching on campus went to see a doctor. Wang Zhenqiu's invitation brought him back to the classroom, temporarily escaping from the bleak situation of labor reform. So they talked all over the place and came up with a lot of nicknames, all kinds of good and bad, elegant and vulgar. Finally, they picked a few outstanding nicknames and wrote them down on a piece of paper. Together with the nicknames, they asked Guancheng to go to the city to send a telegram to the troops. At the same time, they also had the New Year's goods that Feng Qingxiu's uncle and aunt had prepared after learning the good news. Let Guancheng send it together. After completing the mission, Guancheng touched the black market. In the coldest month of winter, life is not easy. Some people are willing to sell gold, silver, and jewelry in exchange for money to buy food for the winter. Guancheng was wrapped up tightly. As soon as he stepped into the black market, he heard someone approaching him and whispered, "Young man, do you have any food? 1 piece of fine grain, 3 cents of coarse grain, take whatever you have." Guancheng is tall, long-legged, and full of energy. Everyone can tell at a glance that he has a pretty good living condition. A person who is not well fed and well clothed would not be able to grow as tall as he does, with such a strong figure. Look at the exposed back of his hand, the bones and flesh are even and not skinny. Guancheng shook his head and said, "If you don't have food, you have money. We only accept old gold and silver goods." After hearing what he said, the young man sighed and walked away. In black market transactions, you and I agree, and everyone knows the rules. No one can fall out because the other party refuses to trade with them. A skinny girl with pointed ears and a pitch-black face walked up to Guancheng and whispered, "Brother, are you collecting old things? Can you buy mine?" "What do you have?" Guancheng glanced at her. Judging from his age, he is probably about the same age as Feng Qingyun, but he is shorter and thinner than Feng Qingyun. The girl crossed her fingers and said pitifully, "There are a few silver coins and a piece of jade that I secretly hid without asking anyone to take it away. It's so beautiful. Brother, can you buy it? Just give me a few dollars to buy some coarse grains." "Good." As she spoke, she took out 4 silver coins and a green jade quill from her pocket. In the black market, jade jewelry is still worthless, but 1 silver dollar can be exchanged for 90 cents. Because the national bank's exchange price is $1, those who dare to go to the black market but not go to the bank are probably of poor quality. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1147. Guancheng gave her 5 yuan and a pound of food stamps, and at the same time took away the silver dollar and jade feather tube. When money and goods are settled, children and old men will not be deceived. "Thank you, brother, you are such a good person. Good people will be rewarded." The girl happily ran away with the money and food stamps, and disappeared for a moment. Guancheng shook his head, just think of it as doing one good deed every day. Without the compassion of the Lu family and Feng Qingxiu, he and his brother would not be where they are now, so when he encounters poor people, he is willing to help them instead of just watching indifferently. On a rare trip to the city, Guancheng visited a few more black market locations and spent more than 20 yuan. The money was given to him by Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu, so in his heart, unless he asked Feng Qingxiu for these things he particularly liked, everything else belonged to Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu. In the evening, he walked through the snow back to the Wanglu Brigade. As soon as he arrived at the intersection of Zhuangzi Road, he found someone waving to him. "Grandma, what do you want me to do?" Guancheng spoke quickly after recognizing that the armed man was Wang Fengqiao. Wang Fengqiao pulled him towards her home and said as she walked, "Don't go back now. Come to my house and sit there. Then go back when it's evening. I've called Tianzi and Au to our house." What happened? Guancheng was confused. Wang Fengqiao snarled, "At midnight today, a crazy woman came to our team with 2 or 3 boys and girls. She was looking for you, but she happened to run into me. I asked her who she was. Why are you looking for her? She said that she is your mother. I heard that you are living a good life, so she came to you with your younger brothers and sisters." Guancheng was shocked. What? After many years, he heard news about his biological mother for the first time. When he and Guan Yu were brought by Feng Qingxiu, they did so quietly and did not alert the locals, including the group of orphans. So how did he find his biological mother? How did she know that she and Guan Yu were in the Wanglu Brigade? Wang Fengqiao seemed to see the confusion on his face, and whispered, "As soon as I heard that I was looking for you, I knew something was wrong. Although Xiaoxiu didn't mention the matter between you and Au, I guessed it inseparable. I often went to and from the Lu family when I was a child, so I naturally met your aunt and your father, but your surname is Guan. Many old people in the brigade can guess it, but they just don't say it out loud." "Thank you," Guancheng said in a low voice. He also knew that the origins of himself and his younger brother could not be hidden from the wise folks, so he was especially grateful to them for keeping quiet and allowing his brother to grow up safely. Wang Fengqiao continued, "Your mother, I asked her why she was sure that the 2 orphans adopted by our brigade were her sons. After all, there are many people with the same name in the world. What do you think she answered? It probably started with the Lu family. She knows everything about my aunt marrying here." "That's right," Wang Fengqiao clapped her hands. "She said that her sister-in-law married the Lu family of the Wanglu Brigade, and the Lu family adopted Guancheng Guanyu, who was not her son. It is said that the younger Guanyu and Lu, the younger son of the eldest family, looks very similar to the younger son of the Lu family. Even a fool would not believe it when she said he was not related to Guanyu. Moreover, she found out that the time when the Lu family adopted you happened to be the time when you were breaking the law. Isn't this the time of disappearance in the temple?" Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1148. Guancheng frowned and said, "It is said? I heard?" Inquiry. "Who did you listen to? Who did you ask? I haven't seen her looking for our brothers for so many years, why did she suddenly appear? When I am already 20 years old." Wang Fengqiao glanced at him but said nothing. "Tell me the truth. I've been through big winds and waves, and my mother has come to find me. There's nothing I can't bear, isn't that why my mother came here? What can there be? How could one be more powerful than the sky?" After listening to Guancheng's words, Wang Fengqiao sighed deeply. "In the end, it's your skin that is to blame." "Me?" Guancheng pointed to his nose, and an idea flashed in his mind. "You said it was Wang Xinlei's family? In other words, Wang Lingzi's family was responsible for this? Except for people from the Wanglu Brigade, most people can't guess my origin. No wonder everyone says you are extremely smart. You are indeed a dragon born from a dragon and a phoenix born from a phoenix." Wang Fengqiao nodded and confirmed his answer. "Yes, it is Wang Xinlei's house. Wang Xinlei and his wife have met your aunt. Your aunt, the wedding was a grand event for our Wanglu Brigade. Who didn't see it? Wang Lingzi was admitted to high school, which shows that their family's qualifications are not bad. Now that Wang Lingzi is in jail, it seems that he has completed the labor reform. It's a pity that your reputation has been ruined. Do you think their family can't hate you?" "I hate it, I must hate it to death, even if it is Wang Lingzi's own fault. Some people in the world are so unreasonable, and they obviously blame themselves for all their misfortunes, instead of blaming others for all their misfortunes. Guancheng continued Wang Fengqiao's words and said, so they tried every means to find out the news about her, and then encouraged her to bring her whole family to find me and Au, hoping that Au and I would be labeled as bad elements from now on, and will never be able to stay in the Wanglu Brigade. Or get the benefits they want from us. Wait, how many children does she have? Of course she was referring to her biological mother, and that man was her stepfather. Wang Fengqiao nodded and said, yes, I heard that her husband died in a fight, leaving them orphans and widowers. Life is very difficult. Now they can't even eat. I heard that you are here from all over the country. He is a famous doctor, his family is in good condition, and he earns a lot of work points every year. The two brothers can get several hundred kilograms of rations, so they came immediately. While talking, the couple arrived at Wang Fengqiao's house and entered the courtyard. Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu walked out of the main room. The latter said in confusion, Grandma, why did you call all our brothers here? Do you want to prepare delicious food for us? But it's not the right time now, so we should. It's nothing delicious. Wang Fengqiao nodded his forehead and said, let's go inside, it's very cold outside. Chen Dazhuang and Wang Fengqiao's children are already married, so as long as Chen Kankan doesn't bring the stone mill, they will live here. Chen Dazhuang, who was smoking in the room, nodded to Guancheng and accepted Guancheng's greetings. Grandma, what's going on? You won't let us go home? Lu Tianzi was impatient and spoke immediately. Au, Guancheng suddenly called him, and then said seriously, you have grown up now and are sensible. There are some things I need to tell you in detail, lest you believe the deceptions of some people with ulterior motives. Guan Yu was stunned. Brother, just tell me what's going on. What else are we hiding from each other? Well, I will tell you now in front of my aunt and uncle and Tianzi. I will tell you all about our brother's life experiences, without hiding anything. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1149. After hearing what his brother said, Guan Yu was confused. Aren't we just orphans? Living on the streets, homeless. It was my aunt who saved my life, brought us back and adopted us. Guancheng nodded slightly and did not deny it. Yes, we are orphans, and we are indeed living on the streets, homeless. It was aunt who saved your life. This is true. You remember it clearly, but have you ever thought about it? Why did auntie only adopt you and me among a large group of orphans like us, while others like Zhanghe Liuzi and Arya were adopted? Guan Yu shook his head and nodded. I've thought about it, but I can't think of the reason. I'll tell you today. It's because we are cousins of Tianjun and Tianzi. Our father is Tianjun Tianzi's uncle, and Tianjun Tianzi's mother is our aunt. Ah, Guan Yu and Lu Tianzi opened their mouths so wide that they could almost stuff a goose egg. Me? Au's cousin, Lu Tianzi pointed at himself. At the same time, Guan Yu also pointed to his nose. Brother, am I Tianzi's cousin? The two brothers were like twins, and now they moved in unison. Wang Fengqiao and Chen Dazhuang, who were watching, couldn't help laughing. They were so similar, and their reactions were exactly the same. Thinking of twins, Wang Fengqiao thought of her niece's triplets. She didn't know what they looked like. Triplets, the news spread throughout the Wanglu Brigade overnight. Speaking of Feng Qingxiu, who wouldn't say she is lucky? Not everyone has such good luck. Giving birth to 3 sons in one birth, twins is enough to make people jealous, but in the end, there were 3. With these thoughts swirling in her mind, she heard Guancheng say to his brother, Yes, that's right, we have a deep blood relationship with Tianjun Tianzi. At the beginning, my aunt got the news and made a special trip to find us. Fortunately, Auntie came in time and saved your life. I have never forgotten this great kindness. I will never forget that in my heart. My aunt is my mother, Guan Yu interjected, and then frowned. Brother, I haven't heard you mention it for so many years, why do you want to tell me now? That's right, Brother Aiken, what happened? Lu Tianzi was a little more naive, but his mind was very quick. Guancheng did not hide his two younger brothers. The lesbian who claims to be our mother came and is probably at the door of our house now. Anyway, we are not at home, so they can't get in. Mother, Guan Yu was stunned, aren't we orphans? We are orphans, but we are orphans whose father died tragically and our mother ignored us. Guancheng said calmly, Ayu, you are a posthumous child, which means that your father passed away before you were born. She was pregnant with you and me, severed all ties with her father, and then remarried a widower. He told his brother everything he remembered in detail, and finally said, when I took you to wander around, I never felt that I owed her anything. Now that I have grown up and become sensible, kindness is kindness, and resentment is resentment. We do owe her, we owe her 2 lives, one is yours, and the other is mine. She owes us the kindness of being pregnant for 10 months, but we don't owe her the kindness of raising a child. I will repay the kindness, and I will decide how to repay it, and you don't have to do anything, just understand the truth of the past. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1150. Brother, we are brothers, and brothers are like brothers. We must repay what we owe her together. You cannot bear it alone, Guan Yu said seriously. Why did she come here after so many years? What does she want to do? Guancheng told his younger brother what Wang Lingzi's family had done. Lu Tianzi was shocked, you can actually do this? Didn't Wang Lingzi bring it upon himself? How can I blame you? Wang Fengqiao sighed, people are different. When something happens, a kind person will look for the reason from himself and reflect on himself. A narrow-minded or mean person will only shirk the responsibility that should be attributed to himself. Wang Xinlei and his wife would not think about it at all. If Wang Lingzi had not resorted to unscrupulous means, then she would not have ended up where she is now. They only think that everything is your brother's fault. Without your brother, Wang Lingzi would not be in ruins. Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu frowned at the same time, feeling disgusted. Grandma, how do you know that Wang Xinlei and his wife brought them here? Guan Yu has no memory of his biological mother. He used to have some fantasies, thinking that he and his brother might have become orphans after their parents died. Now he knows that his 2 brothers being abandoned like that, any longing for her biological mother naturally disappeared, so she called her like her brother. Besides Wang Lingzi's family, who else do you have grudges with? Wang Fengqiao asked. Lu Tianzi blurted out, Wu Lejuan's family. Her family asked people to come to our house twice to propose marriage to Brother Aiken, but we rejected them both times. According to Wang Lingzi's description, Wu Lejuan should be very scheming and has a grudge against me. Brother Aiken, it's not unreasonable. Guancheng helplessly patted his head and said, Wu Lejuan's family is not from our Wanglu brigade, how could they guess our origins? So the person who encouraged her to come to us must be from the Wanglu brigade. Between you and Ayu's appearance and our surnames determine our origins. Count carefully those who have grievances with us. Except for Wang Xinlei's family, there is no one else. It's not just speculation. I asked them. Based on their descriptions, it can be concluded that it was Wang Xinlei's wife who told them the news about you. Wang Xinlei and his wife were not stupid enough to explain the origin of their names to Guancheng's biological mother, but Guancheng the biological mother was also thoughtful, and her description was accurate, even their clothes, shoes, and hats were correct. I even took them through the door of Wang Xinlei's house and asked them to confirm, and it turned out that I was right. Lu Tianzi and Guan Yu finally understood. Tisk, 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 Mr. Lu Tianzi shook his head. This human heart is really unfathomable, and the brain works so fast. You plot against me, and I plot against you. Everyone wants to take advantage of the other, and no one wants to. They are all guarding against someone. Isn't it just that Brother Aiken is more handsome than ordinary people? Everyone is thinking about him and will be destroyed if they don't get it. It's really hard to describe their vicious thoughts. It's rare to see someone like you get into trouble for no reason. Wang Fengqiao pushed his head in a funny way. I don't know what situations you and Au will face when they grow up. Your aunt was still mumbling something before she left. She is actually in the mood to watch your brother's jokes here. Lu Tianzi crossed his hands and covered his mouth. Brother, what should we do now? Guan Yu ignored Lu Tianzi's joking and looked at his brother worriedly. Her husband is dead and she brought her children to us. They will definitely not give up. They may making a lot of outrageous demands.